Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. So welcome back to my channel here. So in general, I do a lot of vlogs around my business, my hand-dyed yarn business. So I dye yarn with you guys and then do day in the life vlogs where you see a little bit behind the scenes of how I run my business, but I also like to include crafty content as well. So I do knit and sometimes work on some other things. And having been a knitter and having started knitting kind of in high school, it's been quite a few years, which means I have over the years not necessarily acquired a lot of stash. I don't hold a lot of stash. I tend to buy yarn specific for projects. That's just the planner in me. But over the years, I have kind of accumulated a lot of leftovers, especially as a newer knitter and not really knowing like myself as a knitter. I would always buy extra yarn, and that has just meant that I have yarn sitting around that I don't necessarily ever plan to use. And I don't necessarily have the time now to just like work everything up into projects. So my goals have always been to take leftovers and turn them into charity items. And so I'm still going to be doing that. But just because I have a lot of, just a lot more than I will need, and I know over the years I'll have more leftovers, I decided to just go through my stash and clean it all up. So you can kind of see those shelves in the back. Those are all pretty new, and those white boxes on there. There's a few more on the other wall. I just needed a lot more functional space for my business, and when I kind of reorganized everything over there, I did put my stash in those bins as well, but I'm finding that I needed more bins for my business, and I didn't want to have 3 bins of yarn that I never was going to access. So in today's vlog, what we're going to be doing is just going through my stash. So I show you guys basically everything in my stash, talk about it a little bit, and then kind of put things into the piles of what I want to knit into charity items, yarn that I'm just going to donate to a charity or to a school or something like that, and then what I'm keeping. And you'll see I don't really have too many like untouched skeins. A lot of my goals in 2020 were to touch on every single skein, and I think there are maybe like 3 or 4 that I didn't get to. So overall, that was pretty much a success. I got a lot of yarn used up last year. And so anyway, I figured that it would be fun to like just kind of vlog it. So you'll see what I kind of go through, and then I clean it all up so that my stash only uses 1 bin. And now my whole philosophy is that is my stash bin, and if I can't fit yarn into it, then I have to get rid of something. So I do cheat a little bit, which you'll hear about a little bit at the end, but over time we'll kind of see how that goes. Overall, I'm not like a minimalist in the sense that like I have nothing. Like I do hold on to things, but if I find that I'm not using something, I do tend to get rid of it. So I have like minimalist mentalities, but I don't like try to live on, you know, 10 pieces of clothing or anything like that. So I am not sentimental about stuff. I am fine with taking photographs of things and sending it on its way or getting rid of it. So I thought that it would be fun to just go through. A lot of these things have like, you know, have always kind of just been in the back of my mind of, you know, I need to just like get rid of it. I need to just get rid of it because I know I'm never going to use it and I don't love it. And so I just have done that. So anyway, let's kind of get into the vlog. And I just also wanted to mention that if you want to sign up for just a couple of quick announcements, if you want to sign up for May Mystery Yarn Clubs, those you have through the 20th, which is a week from today, I believe. Yeah, you have 1 week from today to sign up for May clubs. And so if you don't know, I do a mystery yarn club based on a photo, and this Friday's vlog I'll be releasing April's club, so you'll hear all about them on that day, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss that video. And then if you haven't seen last week's dye with me, definitely head back and watch it. It was a fun little experiment. And so yeah, that is that. Let's head into this crafty stash vlog and see what's going on. So first, while I'm here, let me show you some projects I have sitting here that I did not do. So the first one, I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of this one, but this is, and the lighting is not very good, so definitely look at the pictures that I post. But this is my new colorway Meadow that a sample knitter knit up for me, Sabrina, so thank you so much. So just a really fun, like not in your face colorful, but really fun spring colorful variegated skein. So make sure you check that out. And then I also did finish these vanilla socks finally. So those are done. The ends are woven in. I like to just wash them once before I actually trim the ends. That way if they stretch or anything, the end won't like pop out or something. So I leave the ends, even though they're woven in, I leave them in and then I wash them, kind of let the yarn stretch, and then I trim them off. So those are done. And then this is the Kentia shawl that I had knit up out of my spring rainbow gradient set, along with Before the Rain as the contrast color. So I'll be posting photos of this soon. Again, the lighting isn't great, but it's just like a chevron-y mosaic squishy shawl that has the rainbow in the spring rainbow in there, so the pinks and purples, blues and greens and yellows and orange and the red, but it's like not in your face rainbow, and I really love it. So yeah, you get the chevrons and then just like mosaic, a chevron, mosaic, chevron, so really fun. This is an Amba O'Brien pattern, and yeah, so I will have kits for this in the shop. If I don't already, it's coming soon. I'm just hoping to take pictures. It is Sunday morning currently, and I really should have done it yesterday. It was so nice out, and of course today it's raining. But what are we actually here for today? I'm gonna be going through my stash, and so actually let me move these to the other table so I have a little bit more room. I'm gonna grab the first bin and we'll get started. This first bin I have is all of my sock yarn, and it looks like, I don't know, just some random stuff. So I'm gonna go through it and show it to you guys, and then what's really gonna happen is I'm gonna decide what's gonna get kept, what is gonna kind of get cast on now during a cast on party, hopefully today or this week, and then what is getting donated. So in all honesty, the sock yarn probably really won't be going anywhere. But we'll just kind of see what we have. So one thing I have is this big bag of black yarn. I started a Cozy Memories blanket and I wanted to do it like a stained glass look, so have the black around it. But then I decided against doing the Cozy Memories blanket for a reason. I think I wrote up a blog post that I can link to below. But this is just Valley Yarn's Huntington. It's the fingering sock weight yarn from Webs, kind of like their brand. It's really soft and nice. So we'll see what I end up doing with that. Just right now it becomes like heels, cuffs, and toes, but that's a lot of yarn for that. So this is my heel, cuff, and toe bag. So again, I'm not going to get rid of this, but what I have in there is just leftovers of other sock weight yarn from, and I know this is like really zoomed in close, various kind of like sock weight yarn from leftovers from projects. And then I also did buy, this is the same thing, this is the Huntington Valley yarn. Each one of these is 50 grams, right? It has to be. Yeah, each one of these is 50 grams. And so at one point I just bought it in a few different colors that I liked, and so I have like a few of those in here, plus again leftovers of projects that I just use for heels, cuffs, and toes. If you guys know me, I enjoy using heel, cuff, and toe contrast, and so that's kind of, I go to that bin and just pick out something that matches. I'm not really too big on it. I have a skein of Jinx yarns, which I had 2 of them and I used one last year. So one of my big things in 2020 was I wanted to use like every skein in my stash. I used most of them. I still have this one left over that I thought of using as sleeves for a sock arm sweater. So kind of having a striped sleeve. And because there's only like blue and gray in there, I thought it would look nice. And then have the body be just a solid. So I'm still thinking of doing that. And actually, maybe I should leave this out. I think I should leave this out and plan what my main color would be, because I'll probably just dye up my main color for myself. So maybe I'll leave that out so I remember to think about that. This is a pair or a skein cake of Wacky Sacky that I got from my LYS Knit Sheep. And it will knit up into kind of this pattern here. I thought it would just be fun to have like that self-patterning yarn available to me to do. I might actually leave this one out as well to knit next, now that I finish those Oink Pigment socks. So I was actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. See, look, one bag is empty. Okay, so what do we have next in here? This is the last of the finger of the sock yarn, so really don't have that much left, which is good. So I have a skein of Desert Vista Dye Works. In 2019, I did. She does like a kind of like a knit along, but like she calls it a sock club, but basically you knit a pair of socks or mittens, something out of one skein of yarn from her shop, Desert Vista Dye Works, each month. And if you do all 12 months, so like there are prizes along the way depending on how many months you do, but if you do all 12 months you get the exclusive colorway. So this is what that was. Personally, it's not like my colors, but my husband really he liked it, and I should probably cast these on soon too, but maybe I should do a pair for him before a pair of me. That's a good point. So maybe I won't do these right now. Maybe I'll cast on self-striping. I don't know the last time I did self-striping, so maybe I'll do that for him and cast vanilla socks on for him. He has size 13 feet, but he likes shorty socks, although every time I knit him socks, he seems to want them longer and longer. So anyway. And then I have a sock blank from Gail's Art that I got at Rhinebeck in 2019. I got a single knit sock blank, and it's funny because a part of me is like wishing I had gotten a double knit so it would be lengthwise shorter and then I would just like have framed it, but I will knit it. I mean, we're meant to, you know, yarn, I know yarn is special and everything, but it's a good memory pair of socks, I guess, to do. And then maybe you know, I only use half, so maybe I will be able to keep at least like the New York sheep and wool part. I don't know, we'll see. But that's like why I haven't worked on that sock blank. But yeah, so that's gonna get put back away, but obviously keeping. And then I have I think this is a Captain Marvel one, so I plan to work on this when Captain Marvel 2 comes out. That's what I'll work on. At the time, of course, I was like, oh, I'll be working on it when at the movies, but you know, with the, I mean, hopefully, I don't think this movie is even filmed yet, so I'm sure I'll be able to get back to the movies by then. And then this last one was, well, we went on our honeymoon. We didn't really do like a real honeymoon. We got married up in the Poconos, and we just stayed there for not even a week, just like 4 days or something. And I went to a local yarn shop there, and this was some hand-dyed yarn that I got there. So I will be knitting those into socks at some point as well. Okay, so what I have in here is fingering weight yarn that's not sock yarn, so there's no nylon content. A bunch of these are actually like single ply fingering weight yarn. I think I use some in this, or I know I use some of it in like this, the Craze Scandinavian cowl. And then I have these Dale of Norway ones that I've used in like a couple of like color work patterns, but I
I honestly had these from when I was like in high school and learning to knit. So those might be ones that I actually just kind of donate. Again, some of these like are half used and stuff, and then I have leftovers from my impressionist shawl. Again, they're single ply, but there was like too much of it to hold on to or to like throw out. So I just kind of threw them in here, but this is one that I definitely need to like go through and probably donate. And then this is like sport weight leftovers. So I did a sweater out of this yarn, which is Ultra Alpaca Light, and I love that sweater. I bought an extra skein because, you know, you never know, and haven't used it, and I really don't think I'm going to use it, so I think I'm just going to donate this. Let someone else use it. And then I have, this is the swatch, my little itty bitty swatch that I did for that yarn, figuring that if I ever wanted to use that yarn again, I could. And what do you know, it's not like I have the size needle that I use. Like, what good is a swatch if you don't have the right size needle? But anyway, so I'll probably just throw that out. And then I have leftovers. I did a hat and gloves for my mom, and so these are some leftovers from that. I think this is probably soft enough that I can work into a charity project. Okay, still going. So this is like baby, good stuff for babies. That is like DK yarn. So this is yarn that I'll use for making baby knits for gifts. I have a lot of the blue because you guys know I just finished Hannah's sweater. This is what I used for the main body of the two girls' sweaters, and you can see I bought so much leftover. I think I've gifted like 3 hats out of the blue yarn too at this point. It's hard because like you can gift blue, right? Like I made blue sweaters for my nieces, but I just feel weird knitting a blue hat for somebody who's like having a girl and just not knowing if that's something that would bother them or not. I actually think this is like a periwinkle blue. Like to me, this is like a girly blue, whether or not you care about color norms or you think it's ridiculous or not. You just never know someone else's preference, right? So of course I think this is beautiful for a girl. This is one of my favorite colors, but it's also beautiful for a boy or for whatever. So I do still have it, so I don't know if I should keep it or donate it or just like I just don't know how much time I have to do all the charity knitting, so it almost makes sense to just kind of donate it and let someone else use it. That way it's not sitting here in this bag and it's actually out there in the world. So that's what I have to decide here. Again, these are just like small leftovers. I think these were the stripes in the sweater. There was also like green and yellow, and so I've used those because green and yellow are like such good baby colors when you don't know the gender of the baby. So then I just have like the pink and the yellow, and then of course a lot of the blue left over. And then I have this other one. I started a sweater for Hannah when she was born out of this, and then it was just like, I think it was like one of those things, like it was coming out too big, and then I wasn't going to finish it in time because I had to start over, and I was a very new knitter at this time. This was probably like my second project or third project. And so I ended up just making her like a little hat out of it instead. So anyway, this is another thing. I think like having this stuff is like good to have because of like baby showers and stuff. So I'll probably keep this. The goal of this, I really don't want stash. Like I want all this yarn gone and then like be able to buy yarn for projects or dye it up for myself. So I don't know. This is the type of thing that I just kind of want to get rid of everything. So I'm going to leave that in like the TBD pile, which I think was over here. Okay. These are sock yarn leftovers that are like thicker ones. So these are like DK weight sock yarn leftovers. So I knit a sock of yarn, or a pair of yarn out of that for myself, and this one for my husband. So I got this again at that same LYS on our honeymoon, so I call these our honeymoon socks. So I have those leftovers, and then these are leftovers from a pair of socks I made for him. Again, you can see like he likes such shorty socks that I even have leftovers from him. And then of course this is all knotted up, and then leftovers from me. Again, they were kind of like matching paired socks. So I think these are, can you donate partials? I'm assuming you can donate partial things. Like if you were, do they do that? I don't even know. I have to like Google that, but I think, I don't know. Or maybe I just knit some like adult hats or something and donate that. I'm gonna go on like a big charity kick. Do you guys want to do something like yarn charity knitting related? Because I need to just, I think this is like a big thing, is just knitting this stuff, because I just don't want all these bins full of yarn. And even if I wanted to knit a baby thing for someone, I can buy the yarn for it. So I don't know. We're gonna probably start charity knitting and then maybe even donate a lot. Okay, so that bin is empty now, so I'm going to just start putting some of these away. So the sock yarn is getting put away. The heels, cuffs, and toes I want to keep, and this black yarn I'm going to... Okay, so this next bin is one that I'm really probably going to want to donate a lot of stuff if I can, because a lot of it is like worsted weight leftovers. So I have so much of this. I knit like a sport, you know how like people will do sports, I mean this is what I did. I did a cowl where I followed along a season, and depending on if my team won or lost and it was a away or a home game, I knit a stripe into it. And of course I just had so much left over, like this skein is not touched, this skein is not touched, this skein is not touched. This skein is probably not touched either, and it just started to unravel or something. So I obviously bought double of what I need. I have 4 full-size skeins. So I think these, honestly, I'm just going to donate. And I'm sure people are going to say, why not try and sell it? But, like, they've been sitting around in my house for so long. I don't know. I just would feel weird about, like, selling it. You know, at this point, it's like, might as well just donate it. So, like, these bits, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not keeping them. Those are not staying in my house. So then I have leftovers from my Altheta sweater, the one that I kind of have been living in nonstop. So I have a full skein of that. I don't know if this is a full skein or if I started using it, a ton of, almost a full thing of the white left. And then if you remember, if you've been following along since I started that sweater, I actually had it with these 2 contrast colors. And I haven't even touched these. However, I absolutely love this color. It's like a light slate blue, and I actually want to knit a full sweater out of this. So I love this yarn. I like absolutely live in that sweater. So I think I want to make a sweater out of this color, so I don't plan to get rid of it. Again, this is a full-size skein that I think all I did was use it in my swatch. So again, I have my swatch here for the yarn. This is something I could make, I guess, mittens out of. It's just not necessarily something I want to knit right now, and maybe that's because of the warm weather. So again, I might just like donate some of these away. Okay, so this next one, I have 2 bags, almost 2 bags here of this wool ease. This was yarn, again, I can't like de-stash this because I had gotten this when I was in high school and was knitting a sweater out of it, and just like I just didn't ever do it. So I had like ripped out the yarn and washed it and reskeined it and everything. So I have like 5 skeins of that. What I'm thinking about doing with this, again, I can just donate it, but because I like knit it, like these ones that are probably untouched, I would donate, just because these, like, I actually did knit up and stuff, and they're probably, I don't know what my standards are for donating it or not. But I was actually thinking about like doubling them up and just like crocheting blankets to donate to an animal shelter. So yeah, my table is getting very crowded. So this here is all, again, worsted weight yarn that's left over from projects. I did this like massive blanket for our couch. So these are just like various leftovers of things that, again, I think I'm just gonna like donate. Like this is like perfect to donate for like a school or something, you know, because they're just like bits and bobs of worsted weight yarn. So this is definitely all just gonna get donated. So then I just have some more Jameson and Smith leftovers that I don't know what I'm going to do with either. Again, just more kind of like bits and bobs from various projects that I'm going to be donating. And then this is like a leftover, again, I probably will just donate it. This is like Cascade yarn that I used to make my dad a scarf that I had leftovers of. And then this is leftovers from the king size blanket I knit for my husband and me. So the fact that this is all that was left is actually pretty good because I used a lot of yarn for that. But again, I'm going to donate these. Worsted weight yarn, I'm just going to donate. Alright, like I said, everything is getting like very piled up here. So the last bin this is what I've kind of talked about before. So this, sorry for the crinkling. So this bag here are all of my leftover sock yarns that are actually like fingering weight with sock yarn. Why there is like this random needle holder, I don't know. But that's what's in this bag. This is all leftovers from like every pair of socks I've ever made in my life. So this like is yarn with nylon in it. So this is kind of a larger project, and this is a bag of minis from Desert Vista Dye Works. This was part of my prize package for doing all 12 months. But this is what I'm going to be crocheting into a scrap blanket, and then what I'm doing is so I would take out one ball at a time. So like this is the Fish Are Food Not Friends socks that I knit fairly recently. And what I'll do is knit a stripe into my blanket, or crochet a stripe into my blanket with it, and then see how much leftovers I have after that, and make like basically preemie hats and baby hats out of it to knit up. I've also done like sweaters and stuff. So this bag is not like getting empty by any means. So this is kind of like the larger project that I want to pick it up on. So this last bin just has like spinning tools. So this has like some fiber in it. I have a braid from Created by LCB. I have fiber from when I was first learning how to spin. And then I also have like the first yarn that I ever spun. So I'm probably just going to get rid of this. Whether I cake it up and donate it is an option. But I'm definitely not keeping it. I know people will, I'm just not a keepsake person. And so to me, like, I don't need the memory. And then this is also like one of the first skeins. This is like that fiber that I showed you, spun and caked up. Again, I'm gonna just donate it. Someone else can enjoy it. So I have like all of so my goal here, I'm fine with having like my spinning fiber in here. I have one empty bin now, which is good. And then I have a Pi. Hi, Pi. And then I have like a half empty bin here. So my goal is to have just like the one bin of stash, right? Like it would be nice if I put my fiber in here, my yarn in here, and I would just have one stash bin. And then I'll have two empty bins for business stuff. What I've decided here is I have one of these bins, and what I've decided is this is how much stash I'm allowed to have. So if I can't get what I want to fit into this bin, then I have too much and I can't keep it. So what I have in here is the bag of like sock yarn that I'm actually going to use, that black sock yarn. Oh my gosh. I have the bag of heel cuffs and toes that I love using. I'm keeping the bag of like baby stuff because you just never know. And I ended up deciding to keep the Rauma yarn because it's not sport weight yarn, but, well, maybe it kind of is. I just really love that sweater and love that yarn. That, again, I kind of want a sweater out of this color. And I'm not sure, but for right now, I just wasn't ready to part with this. Then I have the braid here, and then the last thing is kind of that bag of other spinning yarn. Okay, so I kind of still have more left. So now, because I've kind of made that rule for myself, I have to decide what to do with all of this. I think what I might do is, I guess it's kind of cheating a little bit, but we have like this floating cabinet under our TV that we really don't keep anything in, and one of the bins is like where I keep my whips. So like when I'm working on projects at night, theoretically it's where I keep my whips, but let's be real, it's mostly empty and my whips are all over the place, but that's fine. So I think I might just take another bin, and this will be like where the charity yarn sits. That might be ridiculous and me just cheating on having this stuff put away, but I might do that for now. And again, I still have the 2 empty bins. So the reason why I wanted, and my Nitty Knotty's in there, but I can put that somewhere else. Okay, so we still have some aftermath we need to get rid of. I'm gonna put away the Nitty Knotty. I have some like garbage, whatever, and then those 2 skeins I took out to cast on projects for. So kind of looking up here now, everything, the bins are all put back. What I have here is now, these 2 bins are yarn in stock, so full-size skeins. So basically like the skeins I photograph or show pictures of, one of a kinds, things like that, are in those bins. This bin is Mystery Minis. So we'll see over time if I continue to keep such a large amount in stock. And so the bin in the corner is my stash that I don't need to get to as much as the business stuff. And then I have, this bin is the Die With Me skeins. So those I kind of hold on to throughout the month and then ship them out all at once. Plus mini skein sets that I have in stock. So right now I have like Spring Rainbow, Sweet Treat, there's Frozen, like in stock. And then this bin is like undyed yarn. So pretty much these cones and things, there's skeins and more cones in there. So I just need to get some of that organized. But I feel much better about that. And then down here we have a piece of paper that fell over. I'm just going to be donating all of this. I'm going to look, I probably will post in my town's Facebook group to see if they know of like schools or something that would want this, especially stuff that's like partially used or whatever. And if not, then I'll just find somewhere to donate it. But I feel so great about getting all of this out. Again, it's just stuff that's like been around for a really long time that it's like, I haven't used it by now. Why do I think I'm going to use it in the future type of thing? I do have some of my like fiber in there, as well as like some, I'm going to throw out the blue, but I have like these skeins that are somewhat decent. Again, it's great for like if kids want to learn, or you know, someone would do something with it. So I'm just going to be really happy to get all this out of the house. I think it's ridiculous that I put yarn like in the other room. So if I'm not doing those charity items and I don't use them probably by like the end of the summer going into the next like fall season, I'm just going to donate them then. So I'll give myself a few months to see, especially over the summer when I think I'll have more time, and then we'll kind of go from there. So that's going to be it for this vlog. So thanks so much for watching. I'd love to know your thoughts, what you guys are doing with things, and if you guys want to do some sort of charity like make along, or I might do like my next live stream related to it. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys on Friday. I'll be releasing the April clubs, so I will see you there. Bye.